30 km južneje od Lizbone, na drugi strani reke Težo, je majhno mestece Palmela. In na tem okrožju je bilo včasih, so bili sami vinogradi. No, danes pa je tukaj zrasla ena največjih restauracij na Portugalskem. Dnevno tukaj postrežejo kar 5000 obrokov. In seveda, ta restauracija je pravzaprav kantina znotraj tovarne, v kateri izdeluje Volkswagen T-Roc. V tej tovarni je zaposlenih 18% žensk, skupna številka zaposlenih je 5000 in tukaj izdelujejo avtomobile 24 ur na dan, vse dni v letu. Na lansko poletje, torej leta 2024, so dosegli mejnik dnevno proizvedenih kar 1000 avtomobilov, 1000 T-Rocov in ta tempo držijo tudi danes s prihodom novega T-Roca. Še en fascinanten podatek pa je, da imajo v tej tovarni tudi eno največjih zbirk koles.
We are employing more than 5,000 people directly here in the plant, plus the suppliers all around. We are talking about 15,000 people that are employed. So it is a huge number for a small country as Portugal is. And therefore it shows already the impact of this small plant, let's say, for the economy of Portugal. But in the last years, more or less between 1 and 3% of GDP. So 3% a plant alone is already something, okay? If we add then all the environmental, so all the suppliers, the external services that we have and so on, it's a huge impact for the economy in Portugal.
Why is it called Auto Europa?
Okay.
What is the story behind this name?
The story is quite interesting. So we were founded in the middle 90s as a joint venture between Ford and Volkswagen to build the MPV, the Charan, and the Ford Galaxy. Okay,
yeah,
and therefore they brought a name that they already had similar in South America, the Auto Latina, and they brought here as Auto Europa. Then on the 2000, Volkswagen bought 100% of Auto Europa, and around about 2005 we completely finished the production of the Ford, and we just kept the production of Volkswagen Group cars, so Seat, Volkswagen, and then the other models, Scirocco, EOS, and then in 2017 the actual T-Roc, and now we are launching the new T-Roc.
When you were producing EOS and Scirocco, these were more or less niche models.
Exactly.
What have you learned in that area that you now, what knowledge did you get in that time for today?
The biggest challenge at time was to have different models at the same time on the line. So as you said, we had Scirocco, we had EOS, we had Charan. So 3 models completely different. So a cabrio, a coupe, and a huge van, let's say like this. In that time, we need to focus on quality. Because the volume is so low, we need to show what we are able of. And this we brought from that time to nowadays. We are building more volume, and we have also the same mentality of quality.
Can you prove this?
Just
quality?
look at our cars. Just look at our cars and you see. No, the cars, as I said, the cars are amazing. Our benchmark in every test that we do with other OEMs internally for Volkswagen, the cars are really, really good. Not only the materials that we use, also the proud that we bring in each car, as you see in the plant, as you see in the car, the proud that each worker brings there to say, okay, I did this car, is my fingerprint in this car, and the people are proud of that.
Not just fingerprints, also
No,
the signatures.
when I say fingerprint, I say is the love of each one of Volkswagen Auto Europa employee is there, and we see this, yeah.
Kot vidimo, danes se ukvarja ta tovarna predvsem s klasičnimi bencinskimi motorji, se pravi tudi hibridiziranimi motorji, ampak v prihodnje pa bodo prav v tej tovarni začeli proizvajati tudi električne avtomobile. Ta tovarna bo začela proizvajati tistega najmanjšega električnega Volkswagena. Luka vam je pokazal rumenega T-Roca, danes vam pokažem nebesno modrega. Pa na tem mestu vendarle se spomnim, da T-Roc pomeni novo zgodbo za Volkswagen nasploh. Se pravi, T-Roc je novi Volkswagen. In seveda to pomeni, da je ta prednja maska bolj agresivno, bolj dinamično oblikovana. Pomembna je tudi ta črka R, ampak v tem primeru gre samo za športen dizajn. Lahko pa poročam, da se obeta tudi povsem športna verzija T-Roc R. Seveda govorimo o verziji, ki ima zadaj na zadku tudi Akrapovičeve izpušne cevi. No pa naj vas na tem mestu vprašam, bi kupili recimo serijsko takšno kamuflažo za vaš serijski avtomobil? No, povejte v komentarjih. So let's talk about the technology. Can you give me some fascination?
Yes, we have a wider stand in the front and the rear axle. We have a multi-link rear axle.
On all versions?
In all versions. And at this version, an acoustic optimized rear axle with new rubber. So we have less noise in the inside of the car. We want to grow up a little bit to the higher class.
After the drive, I can agree to that, yes. No, Luka je v svojem videu poročal tudi, da se mu ta nova kljuka, ki bo odslej krasila praktično vse Volkswagene, zdi nekoliko nenavadna. No, jaz sem danes v ta avtomobil vstopal in izstopal kar precejkrat in prav posebno pozornost sem namenil tej kljuki. Pa moram zdaj reči, da se mi ne zdi več tako zelo nenavadna, da pravzaprav povsem v redu deluje. Tako da menim, da si ta kljuka vendarle zasluži tudi palec gor.
Wheels up to 20 inches. It's new in the T-Roc. The older one has only 19. But
this is because of the aerodynamics.
And that is the inserts is because of the aerodynamics. Right.
And we can remove these inserts.
Yes. For transportation, for instance, you can put it out and you can pull the car on the trailer at the wheel. Here's another detail for aerodynamics. We have here a spoiler. We have 0.003 points for the aerodynamics, for the CV. And all of it is 0.28, 20% better than the older one. It's one of the best, it's best in class.
Da podarim še eno črto pri tem avtomobilu. No, in to je ta siva črta v tem primeru. No, pri Volkswagenu pravijo, da je to hokejska palica. Ko so o tej hokejski palici razlagali Luka tu v kamero, na primeru Volkswagena Golfa je Luka dejansko vprašal to.
And you see, we call it hockey sticks because they look a bit like them.
Why hockey sticks? Why not golf sticks?
That's a good idea to call it golf sticks.
Maybe you can change the PR materials now.
Yeah, that's a good idea actually.
No, to vprašanje je v primeru T-Roca malce manj relevantno, ampak na tem mestu se pa dotaknimo še motorjev, ki veljajo pri tem avtomobilu. No, T-Roc po novem na razpolago komaj s klasičnim 1,5-litrskim benzinskim turbomotorjem, ki je podkrepljen s blago hibridno električno tehniko. Tisto, ta pravo, tisto pa še bo prihaja. Namreč sredi leta 2026 se obeta samopolnilni hibrid, za katerega pri Volkswagenu pravijo, da bo boljši od Toyota.
We must have the new NCAP, and so we must have a bigger front, and we want the proportion, so we grow up in all dimensions of the car, so that the car looks good.
So you say this is because of the
crash?
Of the crash?
Yes.
Because of the pedestrian safety?
Pedestrian safety also, but it is a high performance crash so you need the space in the front. We have the soft nose for the pedestrian crash. We have a space under there and a special structure in the front.
Ko so prvega Volkswagena T-Roca predstavili leta 2017, takrat je bila tendenca v avtomobilski industriji, da takšni SUV nekako nadomestijo tiste klasične kombi limuzine a la Golf. No, danes, leta 2025, je povsem jasno, da T-Roc ne namerava nadomestiti golfa. Zanimiv podatek pa je, da smo Slovenci od tistega leta 2017 do danes pokupili že več kot 10.000 Volkswagenov T-Rocov. In to je več, kot smo v tem obdobju pokupili golfov. T-Roc svojega direktnega električnega naslednika še nima, se pa v prihodnjem letu obeta obsežna Volkswagenova električna ofenziva in obljubljajo, da bodo novi modeli popravili nekaj elementov, ki so nas tako zelo motili, naprimer pri ID3 in ID4. Kar sem videl, mora sicer počakati do konca embarga, ampak poročam, da so popravni izpit pri Volkswagenu opravili z odliko. O katerih elementih govorim tako skrivnostno? No, dajte se naročiti na naš kanal, pa boste o tem obveščeni točno tisti hip, ko bo konec embarga.